I want to just give a little bit of an understanding of what relationship OCD is. The reason I want to do this whole episode is to share my personal experience, because it's been one of the most difficult and debilitating things that I've had to navigate in my entire life up until this point. I don't think many people talk about symptoms and experiences that are similar to what I'll share in this episode. And as a result, I felt, before opening up about it, very in the dark. And the interesting thing is that from my experience, what people portray that happens in their intimate relationship is very different to what actually happens in their relationship. What they discern to show is usually some glamorized version of reality. And you see that in the happy, smiling social media posts that people share. And what you don't often hear about as to what's going on behind closed doors, for me, that lack of transparency in other connections kind of left me feeling as though there was something, it kind of promoted more shame internally, because I felt that what I was experiencing was so different. But the interesting thing is, when I've opened up to people, particularly men, about what my experience has been like going through relationship OCD and what some of the symptoms and what that actually looks like, to be honest with you, more than 50% of people share that they experience similar things in their relationship. So that kind of had me going, well, why has nobody ever shared that they've had a similar experience to me in this? And to be honest with you, even some of my closest friends, in the way that they would share and talk about their relationship was completely different to what the actual reality was. And some of those realizations recently caught me off guard, because I was like, well, if some of the people that are close to me aren't sharing a lot of and are therefore holding shame around a lot of the behavior that they have in their intimate relationship, what on earth would be going on with the average person? And so the intention behind this episode is to normalize some of the dysfunction that happens in relationships by sharing my own personal experience. And hopefully that allows you to take a bit of the pressure and steam off what you're feeling or experiencing, and just bring some of this into the light. So what on earth is relationship OCD? Relationship OCD is a safety response, a patterned safety strategy or series of safety strategies that surface in a romantic relationship due to, and this is not really covered a lot in the theory of our OCD, but this is my kind of, a lot of what I share will be my experience, and a lot of what I share as well, I've done a lot of professional development in this, meaning like I've been seeing a therapist for probably close to 6 months now, if I had to guess, doing usually weekly sessions. I've read a lot of books on this topic and done a lot of research around it, and I've been living it for close to 18 months. So I've got a pretty solid, I'm pretty willing and open to leaning in to an area of my life that needs work. I'm usually pretty open and willing, but to be honest with you, nothing has caught me more off guard, been more confusing, overwhelming, and difficult to navigate as this. And it took me a long time to kind of like understand what was going on. So anyway, relationship OCD is essentially when someone has experienced some kind of intense trauma when it comes to the relationships that they've had with people that they should have been able to trust, having that trust intensely broken in some form, therefore creating a sense of hypervigilance when it comes to a healthy, intimate relationship out of the fear of getting hurt. And so what it looks like is just really intense safety strategies. The label in itself is just, I guess, supportive, because if you can kind of identify and go, oh yeah, I suffer from those symptoms, there's solutions under that label that can be helpful, that go beyond just general relationship support. So what I'm going to talk about in this podcast episode is going to go a lot beyond relationship advice. I've read a crap ton of books on relationship advice. I feel confident and have done a lot of holding space for difficult relationship circumstances with people in a professional capacity. I've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom on masculine and feminine dynamics, communication dynamics, nonviolent communication. How do you like attachment styles, trauma, like general trauma and how it impacts how people show up in connection, how to build trust in connection, just general relationship stuff. Done a lot of work of Alison Armstrong's, done a lot of David Dieter's work, done a lot of tantric sexuality work, done a lot of work with just relationship therapists, done a lot of work with relationship coaches before even opening up to relationship OCD. So relationship OCD was a whole other kettle of fish. And whenever I shared my experience of it, was like, yeah, this is what I've kind of been going through. And it's been difficult. And people go, yeah, relationships are hard, man. Very, very triggering for me, because it kind of, I felt a lot of my experience minimized by people not understanding the depth of difficulty and pain and hardship through this chapter. So anyway, relationship ROCD is when they're, like, I'll just say it for me. So I have a massive fear of getting hurt in relationships. I feel very safe in deep, intimate connection with someone that I'm not in a long, potential lifelong commitment and connection with. But the moment for me that it looks like or feels like or seems like I might end up sticking with someone for a long time because they have that level of safety and alignment and compatibility, all of a sudden, all of these extra symptoms emerge. And to attempt to move me away from the perceived threat of intense pain that could come from it not working out.